All right, everybody, that is the end of day two of the draft, and I am about as happy as I could have reasonably expected to be. Given the fact that we still have the same people that I don't really trust running this team, it's hard to come up with a draft scenario that could have been much better than this. Could we have traded up back into the third round to get a linebacker? Maybe. I could talk about the fact that we could have maybe traded up to get Malik Willis, which Tennessee ended up doing. And, those things are very debatable. But going into this third day, I'm really happy with pretty much every decision we've made. Anything that I'm not happy about is not actually upsetting me so much as I sit here thinking I think we could have done better, but I don't mind what we did. And going into day three, by the way, there's a couple of guys that I never thought would be here still available, and hopefully we can end up with at least one of them in the coming picks. But look, Boye Mafe's been one of my favorite players in this draft for a long time. It looked like at one point there was no way he was going to be there at 40, and then he was. Some people thought he was going to end up being a first round pick. That's how much this guy rose at the end, and we were able to stay put, and we got him, which I'm of course absolutely thrilled about. And I know that there are some concerns about him. There are some people who are a little bit concerned about the fact that he's older. But I'm telling you guys, that doesn't matter as much with this guy because he hasn't played that much football. He's not capped out because he has so much to learn about the position. He's got a lot of stuff to pick up on when it comes to the subtleties of playing in the NFL. So unlike a guy who played, Pop Warner football and then bunch of years of high school and then a bunch of years in college, he doesn't have it all figured out yet. So he's got upside beyond what he's shown. So the age thing doesn't concern me as much with Mafe. It was probably my favorite thing we could have done with that pick. Kenneth Walker III, look, I get it. I didn't love it, but it's fine. I don't know if the pick is good, but I think I would go so far as to call it good. I think at the very least you have gotten a guy who is clearly a good running back. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I'm not worried about any of that. I think that you are getting a running back who gives you a lot of versatility, who gives you a lot of different things he can do out of the backfield. One thing that the scouting reports that I saw said about him is that you can line him up in a bunch of different formations and you can use him in multiple schemes. Zone, man, power, etc. He can do all that stuff. So, to me, yes, I liked Breece Hall better, but Breece Hall got taken before our pick came up. Maybe I would have liked the value of a Pierre Strong more, but I'm not too. I'm not. I'm not going to get down on the Kenneth Walker the third pick. I know some people are, and you guys know me. I'm president of the running backs don't really matter that much club. But look, we got him in the third round. I'm sorry, second round, not the first. Okay? Yeah, I understand. We are beyond the age of taking running backs in the first, but we got him in the second. So, and once you get down to that area, that's where you can start thinking about taking really good running backs. And he was probably the best running back in the nation last year. I liked Breece Hall more, but Walker was second. Walker, to me, was clearly the second best running back in this draft. So, I'm good with it. I would have preferred Travis Jones, but then you saw how far Travis Jones fell. And you have to maybe step back a little bit and go, well, maybe there was something up with Travis Jones's value that I just didn't fully understand. And then Abraham Lucas, I mean, people like me, people like the Hawks Nest, people like some other people on YouTube, they wanted Abraham Lucas. They talked about him a lot, but I think a lot of us, at least I know I didn't think we were going to. Didn't actually think it was going to happen because that's just not what we do. We don't attack the offensive line like that. It's never been in our nature to do things like that, especially for a guy. Well, I mean, we already did it with Cross getting an air raid guy. Abraham Lucas is partially an air raid guy. So I didn't think it was going to happen. And then we did it. We got one of my favorite players still left on the board. Somebody who, by the way, we are very fortunate to get in the third. A lot of people thought he was going to go in the first, and pretty much everyone who didn't thought he was going to go in the second. So the fact that he's there in the third round and we were able to pick him up is a dream. So that's 3 picks that I think are at least good. And 2 of those picks I think are excellent. The Abraham Lucas pick is beyond my wildest dreams. I had given up on him in the third round, honestly. So, look, I think we're nailing this draft. I think we're doing things the way we usually don't. We are taking chalk, as they sometimes say. We are taking the consensus picks. We are doing the things that a impartial observer from the outside would probably look at our team and go, yeah, you should do this. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah, that makes sense. So, if for no other reason than that, I can be happy about this draft. It did hurt a little bit watching guys like Travis Jones drop, and we just never picked him. There was a little bit of a run on linebackers at the end of day 2 that I wouldn't have minded getting in on. Tyndall and Chenal went back to back. And now at this point, the linebacker group is getting a lot thinner. Like, you're basically down to Beavers, Damone Clark, and then you're down to guys like DeMarco Jackson from Appy State. But going into day 3, round 4, I do think that there are some really interesting guys left. You can see, if you look at the big board to my left, 2 players who I thought were going to be second-round picks, at least. Late second round, maybe early third round, but probably second rounders. Still there, Sam Howell and Perion Winfrey. I don't know if I want them, but the value there is great. Tariq Woolen, Carson Strong, Kingsley Enagbare. I expected both those guys to be gone by now. Zion McCollum, too, if we're being totally honest here. So there's an opportunity, no matter how the picks break tomorrow, when our 4th round pick comes up, it's going to be pretty early in the day, by the way. Set your alarms. A very good chance that we end up with a guy who I put as at least a high 3rd round grade on, like Woolen. I'm shocked Woolen is still there. So if you still want to get the quarterback, we've still got 2 perfectly good options. To me, Howell and Strong were clear day 2 guys. Very surprised they're here in the third day. And you've got guys who might be a little smarter than that. The only concern I have right now would be linebacker alongside Brooks, but there are going to be guys. There are going to be guys. And by the way, it really looks like it might set up to where you can get Damone Clark and stash him for a year like you did with Darrell Taylor. So, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I love the draft we've had so far. At this point, there's really nothing we can do that would make me dislike this draft. This draft is an A in my book, A- to A. And there's not a whole lot we can do in the rest of the draft to really upset that. Not a whole lot we can do to make me think, Pete and John did it to me again. Like that ship has already sailed. All right. I will be going live with the Hawk's Nest later tonight on my channel. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know when. It's basically whenever he stops streaming, we'll go for, I don't know how long we're going to go, but we made 3 picks today and there's some interesting stuff going on. So we'll go for a while. But yeah, I'm going to give this day my seal of approval. It's the best I felt about a draft in a very, very long time. And hey, it's a good start to this rebuild. See you guys later. Go Hawks. And let me know what you guys thought about day 2.